Hi, I'm Dr. Ann from eQuantum Breakthroughs, and I'm going to focus on the inextricable connection between the physical realm and the spiritual realm, or the physical and the non-physical. So I shared a story about my chakra messaging and how images come up and a story comes up to send a message from that chakra. So when I'm clearing a chakra, that's what happens. So I'd like to share another story, which is foremost in my mind of how I first understood this. And it was at the very beginning of my uh, shift to a new career and a new way of being. So after Mike died, so Mike was my significant other who died of colon cancer. And I set this intention. I got this message right after he died, or I had this knowing. I said, I don't know how to distinguish, but I had this knowing. I woke up one day very shortly after he died, and I had this knowing there was a modality out there that could have saved him. So he was going to Sloan Kettering, which is in the East. That's like the big cancer center. Like that's where you go. So they couldn't help him. And basically, the chemo drugs that he was taking, he developed a resistance to those, which is eventually what happens in all drug related modalities, because the body, it's foreign to the body. So the body naturally says, no, this isn't me, and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. So it builds up defense against it, and therefore it wasn't able to help keep the cancer suppressed. Okay, so I had this knowing there was a modality out there, but I had no idea what it was. So I set this intention that I would discover what that modality was. And maybe 2 years later, I got these messages from people that I was talking to. They're real people, this one's talking about energy healing, this one's talking about healing touch, and this person's talking about energy medicine. And it was like compressed into like 1 week. I heard all these things and I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about. And so I Google searched and I found this kit online, and it was Donna Eden's energy medicine kit. And so I got it. I ordered it and I got it the next week. And I was looking through it and I was like, there was a CD and a DVD and a guidebook and flashcards with exercises on them. And then I opened this compartment and there was this crystal on a red thread. So a clear crystal, faceted crystal. And I'm like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with this. So I was still in my critical thinking brain, being a scientist. I'm like, oh, anything with this is not scientifically based. And so I basically dismissed it. But I had to recycle the bigger package that the kit came in. And there was this program announcement. So I had to take that out because it goes into the paper recycling. It doesn't go to cardboard recycling, it goes in paper recycling. So I just happened to notice that the pioneer of energy medicine, or Donna Eden, was traveling all over the world. And she's going to Norway, Australia, and Wales in the next 6 months. And I'm like, wow, there's that much widespread interest in this. And then I noticed right underneath that announcement, there was an announcement that she was going to be doing a workshop through Omega Institute, but in New York City, which is just a few miles from where I live. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then my body shook. It was like I was standing, not moving, and then all of a sudden I was shaking. And I was like, what the heck? What is that? Like, but I got the message. I'm supposed to wake up and pay attention to this message, that this was a program that I needed to attend. And so I kind of stood there dumbfounded, kind of like suspended silence or suspended animation, trying to figure this out because scientists don't believe that the body talks to us, right? Okay, but anybody that's had an experience like this knows the body is trying to communicate with us, and probably all the time, right? So I got my wits together and I was like, well, if my body wants me to go, then I'm going to go. because this is obviously, I didn't have an idea about the modality that could have saved Mike. And if anything is able to, that could have saved him, I want to know about it. So that's what kind of took over my critical thinking brain. So I went to the phone and I got tickets. And so it was like a Tuesday night, and the program started Friday night. I mean, it was like, that's why my body was like, don't miss this opportunity. Okay. And as a result of being on the edge of my seat for that whole weekend, like, this is something I've never experienced anything like this. And I want to know more. And 2 weeks later, I was in the first class of the certification program for energy medicine, for Eden Energy Medicine. And that has changed my life. So my advice to you is, when strange things seem to happen, pay attention. And especially if it seems like so far out of your realm of understanding or what you could abide by, that is it. So I'm Dr. Ann, eQuantum Breakthroughs.